Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. If you are new here, if you're joining me live or watching this later, welcome. I appreciate you being here with me today. We got a few topics to discuss here, folks, and it's gonna be a Hollywood-driven live stream tonight. Obviously, because of the title, and if you read it already, we're going to be talking about The Sound of Freedom and what's that movie doing in the box office and some shenanigans happening. Videos are being posted all around the Twitter.com and TikTok about some very shady business going on with the theaters playing that film. We're also going to discuss the new leaked image, I think it's real, of the Snow White movie, and a lot of people are upset about that one, which is funny and it's hilarious if it's all real, but I'm 90% sure it was confirmed those images leaked on set were real. And then to wrap things up, we're going to talk about the current strike going on in Hollywood with the actors, with the writers, and all that good stuff. But before we get into anything, guys, I do have a quick video that is going viral right now, and I do want to watch it, react to it with you people, because that's what we're here on YouTube for. We're here to live react to crazy people on the internet. And yeah, so let's just get right into it, guys. Here is a person who decided to post on TikTok. Ooh, crazy, I know, right? So they posted this video explaining how I feel like my camera is not right. Hold on, folks. Let me fix my camera real quick, and then we'll get right into the stream. All right? Technical difficulties. I apologize, okay? Okay, what do we think? I think that looks way better. Okay. All right, folks, let's just get into it. Like I was saying, a person decided on TikTok to post a video explaining or complaining about their employees' discrimination against time blindness. Now, if you're like me and you question things when you are confused, you might be thinking, hey, what's time blindness? Well, we're about to figure that out with this video because it's something everyone knows, but, people can't just stick with the language that they're given. They have to give stuff different names. So let's let this person on TikTok describe the discrimination they face with their time blindness. Here we go, folks.
So I'm
okay. She's coming in a little low. Let's pump that volume up. Here we go.
So I just got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question. So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time, And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else, and then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist, and if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job.
It's kind of true, right? When you apply for a job, they expect your schedule. That's kind of how a job works, but sure, let's continue.
Provided you're trying your absolute best to be there. And then they're like, your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace. And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, when there's other solutions that we can look to, I think that just anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that, yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled.
Okay. So they want a culture where people are late to their job every day. Therefore, eventually, let's let her continue.
And then I asked that person, how can you feel good about yourself upholding this kind of system? And then to think I'm entitled. No, if people think it's okay to treat others like this, that's entitlement. So I just...
Yeah, no. Treating people like adults is not the problem. Okay? This whole video just blows my mind, okay? She expects businesses to accommodate for her time blindness, which is essentially just being late. You're terrible with time, right? And depending on what businesses you apply for, they are not going to take that very well because, they want their employees to be there on time, on schedule, doing work. That's how this world works. That's how the system works. Okay? It's just time blindness. Yeah, you're terrible with time management. How would you accommodate for time blindness? Like, is there, like, what does she want? What is she asking for? What accommodations? Do you want someone to go in your room and wake you up when it's time to go to work? Like, I don't understand what accommodations she's asking for. I wish she would explain that. Is there a second video where she explains it? Like, what accommodations do you want? Do you want people to come pick you up on time? Like, make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. Sorry, I'm moving my mic around. It's fine. We'll all be fine here. But yeah, I thought that video was a nice way to kick things off before we get into the really hot topics here today on stream. Um, and I thought it was important to inform you folks that time blindness is real. We need to accommodate for those people who suffer with time blindness, aka people who are or late. So, all right, folks, let's get into the big topic that I saw happening around the world, and the big story online I saw this past week, and that is The Sound of Freedom, folks. Yes, that is right. The independent film from is really making a lot of money and spreading a lot of awareness to the people across the world. I just want to take a quick look at their numbers here. We can see that the total, where's the total box office? Here we go. Let's see. Where is, that's opening weekend. Oh, it's up here. Their total box office is 65 million, which is insane, right? And yeah, 65 million is not a lot, but this is, Angel Studios. I believe they make like Christian movies. They bought the rights to this and they released it. And, if they would have made their budget back, it would have been nice. But clearly they're making a lot of profit on this movie. And, it's good to make profit, but awareness and spreading their message with this movie. But with this movie coming out, right, and this movie is getting a lot of mouth-to-mouth promotions, right? So a lot of theaters have decided to show this film, right? Put it in their theaters for people to see because people are demanding to see it, which makes sense. That's how theaters work. But over this past week, opening weekend, there seems to be this trend going on where there's always something that happens in these theaters. We're going to watch some of these TikToks, but just to give you a quick glimpse into that, people are claiming the AC was broken in their theater, so it was extremely hot. People are saying that the audio narrative feature was turned on and there was like a narrator for the whole film, and people were saying they couldn't turn it off, right? People pulling the fire alarms, like all this shenanigans is happening over the weekend. And of course with this shenanigans, stirs up some conspiracy theories from the QAnon 4chan people, I guess, if you want to call them that. But we'll watch some of these TikToks. Take them with a grain of salt because they are coming from TikTok. That's my source, I guess. But let's take a look at some of these TikToks. People explaining what happened to them when they saw Sound of Freedom.
So my fiance and I just watched the movie Sound of Freedom that exposes sex traffickers. And do you want to tell them what happened in the movie theater?
All right, AMC, I don't know what's going on here, but first off, the AC was out like when we went to watch the movie, and I'd seen someone else post something too that also saw it at an AMC, and their AC was out, and like as soon as we walked into the theater, it was hot as heck.
I
The
literally
AC
brought a
was out.
sweatshirt and I was like sweating.
And then we realized, like, it took us a while to actually realize it, but they didn't turn the lights off.
They literally had the lights
They
on.
kept the lights on the entire movie.
Who does that?
Like,
They don't want you to see this movie.
they were trying to make it like not enjoyable.
No.
Like they were trying to make it unenjoyable.
What do they think? We're just going to be like, oh, the lights are on, we're going to leave. Like, no. Go watch Sound of Freedom in theaters now.
Yeah, so AC was out, the lights are on. Yeah, have you ever been in a movie theater and the lights were on and you're trying to watch it? That's annoying. It's annoying. So yeah, that's one account of now notice here they said AMC, and it's been the occurrences have been really popular in AMC theaters. I don't know if they happen anywhere else, but AMC theaters have been, the one to blame for these going-ons. Let's take a look at another TikTok. This comes to us, it's TikTok, but I found it on Twitter, from Washington's Ghost. It's a funny name. I've seen countless videos like this where they're having issues in theater that's showing Sound of Freedom. Let's take a look at this clip, see what is going on.
It's actually happening.
Give you our free passes to come back and see it again, hopefully without interruption. I unfortunately apologize for the inconvenience, but we're getting it hopefully looked at later in the week. Can I trust you? Sorry, guys.
Really?
This is called intentional. They don't want it to go to the box office gross. Don't take the money. Part of my job.
People were actually just staying there. If you couldn't hear, the lady, the worker, was saying something was broken, I guess, and they were going to try to fix it later in the week, and they were trying to give everyone free passes, but lights are on, everyone's still watching it. Oh, there's a light flickering. That's fun. That's not annoying to middle of a movie in the movie theater. How about they just turn the lights off? That would help. Wow. So, right, it's weird that happened. There's two videos like this, right? But there's countless videos of shenanigans going on. This comes to us from Ollie London. He has a video that he shared, stating again, numerous movie goers going off during screenings. Is this a coincidence, or is there something nefarious? Here's another TikTok. Wow. They almost got through the movie. I think the movie's like 90 minutes long.
So I just tried to watch the sound. They're saying that there was technical difficulties and the screen wasn't working. And now they're saying it doesn't work at all. To get a refund, switch our days for something else. They just don't want us to bring awareness to anything.
Download the movie. It's going to be about 30 minutes.
Yeah, so Ollie London has this 6-minute long video compiling all those videos. I believe I have one more. Yeah, it's just another fire alarm going off.
May I have your attention, please?
Now, is it the theater?
There has been a fire emergency reported in the building.
Whoa, fire emergency. I never heard a fire alarm talk to you like that. So now it's like, I'm thinking, is it the theaters that are doing this? Like, I highly doubt they got minimum wage workers to pull stunts like this, or is it activists pulling the fire alarms for some reason, which makes no sense whatsoever. But there was some controversy. Like I said before, a lot of blame was put onto the AMC theaters. A lot of people are accusing the AMC theaters of, intentionally sabotaging the movie, right? This comes to us from Variety. AMC theaters CEO slams conspiracy theorists over Sound of Freedom disruption claims. So much garbage information is spread. I believe the CEO, Adam Aaron, and Sound of Freedom Studios, or Sound of Freedom distributor Angel Studios, his quote here. I believe he said, "Sadly, conspiracy theories are so prevalent in America. That's because most conspiracy theories turn out to be true. So much garbage information is spread." He wrote on Twitter, "More than 1 million people have watched Sound of Freedom at AMC theaters, more than any other theater chain on the planet, yet people falsely claim otherwise. It is so bizarre." So yeah, why would he intentionally ruin movies or ruin these people watching this movie, giving them free tickets, if, you know, AMC theaters are the ones to, or like some of the only theaters, you know, still showing this film, right? There's a lot of money, a lot of business to be had there. So, you know, it makes sense for him to come out and say, yeah, no, it's not, we're not doing any of these shenanigans. But still, it looks very suspicious, right? I mean, it's probably only like a couple of theaters in the United States with, you know, these happenings, right? Because I'm sure there's more people that had no issues than people who had issues. But, you know, there's a lot of people having issues, and you put that into a 6-minute video, you know. But it's still a little strange. I will admit, it's still a little strange. And one thing it is doing is it's exposing the people who will defend the bad stuff, I will say. If you don't know, Sound of Freedom is about a I don't want to say this without getting in trouble here. You know, there's people out. Sound of Freedom is about people in the real world doing terrible things to children, right? And this movie is really exposing the people who would side with the terrible people doing terrible things to children. I found this tweet in my research. Oh, my camera went off. Cool. Amazing. Fantastic. I saw this tweet of someone, you know, yelling at the AMC theater CEO dude. You know, yelling at his tweet. Because his tweet does kind of support Sound of Freedom. You know, why would he sabotage, give out free tickets? That makes no sense. But, you know, people are people. But I saw this tweet and I thought, I just want to bring it up because it makes absolutely... It just exposes people for their true intentions, I guess. So this person tweeted, sadly, fascist-leaning executive CEOs are so prevalent in America. Already off to a great start. For example, here's the AMC Theater CEO tweeting his support of Sound of Freedom, the QAnon propaganda and recruitment film showing in AMC theaters. So clearly, this person read one Rolling Stones article and said, yeah, this movie is right-wing recruitment videos, even though the film has like no political agenda whatsoever. They just want to expose these terrible people doing terrible things to children. That's the film, right? Like, sure, there might be like a few indications with religion, but like, it's not over your head. I thought it's something we all agree on, that we shouldn't do terrible things to children, right? We should protect children. But these people, man, they're just insane. The Surfs tweeting this. The right completely losing it for a QAnon tier fictional film, Sound of Freedom, and they're throwing thousands of dollars at something called the Spear Fund, whose website has no information about the org or how it operates or even what it is. It just takes donations. Wow. If you don't watch Tim Pool, he had the actual guy who the movie is based off of, Tim Ballard, on his show, and he spoke about the Spear Fund, which is I believe it's his brand new organization, so it's whatever, but QAnon tier fictional movie. QAnon tier fictional movie. I thought we all agreed that doing terrible things to children is bad. Why do people want to be so divisive over a simple take? It makes no sense. They literally just read one Rolling Stones article or one article, don't even look into the movie or anything about it, and they just assume it's because right-wing people are like it and they're going to see it. It's bad, right? QAnon tier fictional movie. How is it QAnon? What about this movie makes it QAnon? That there's trafficking? Are they trying to say because QAnon said something about, the whole Epstein thing, they think that every child, whatever thing is QAnon? I don't understand. I don't understand it. I believe there was a TikTok of a guy. Yeah, let's see this guy. He talks about it. Let's see what this guy has to say about the QAnon. What does he say? QAnon movie. I found this TikTok. Let's watch this.
Dibs are getting owned all across the multiplex this summer as conservatives come out in droves to support The Sound of Freedom, the child sex trafficking action thriller starring renowned nutbag Jim Caviezel. The film's critics say that it's QAnon adjacent. Its supporters say that it presents a truth that the left doesn't want you to see. So let's get something straight right now, okay? Child sex trafficking is a very real issue, and it's awful. Nobody but the traffickers supports it, okay? Listen, people on the right, the only reason we're not with you 100% on this issue is because you insist on salt-baying everything with lunacy. Okay? That's why you just come out and say, hey, we need to do something about this child sex trafficking problem. Everybody goes, yeah, you're right, we should.
Yeah, but they're not, right? Like, I feel like this movie doesn't sprinkle any lunacy in because it's based off a true story, right? And this actually happened. This actually goes down with undercover people stopping bad people from doing bad things, right? There's no hint of lunacy in this film in its awareness, right? It's not coming out and saying, oh, the elites, right, are the ones doing these bad things. I mean, they could be, right? That's a conspiracy. But this film talks about what's actually happening on our border in other countries in the United States. I don't understand.
Go on, and then you say, yeah, we got to stop this shadowy global cabal of elitists who use ritual sacrifice to harvest the blood of the innocent in their undying quest for immortality. And it's like, wait, what? What kind of peasant mob shit was that? Ritual sacrifice? What are you talking about? Like pagans in the bloodwood or something? It's 2023, dude. What? I'm good. You sound like...
First off, I'm pretty sure there's video of... Anyways, Alex Jones did a thing, but we won't talk about Alex Jones. Again, I have not seen one QAnon right-wing person, when discussing this movie, bring in, the global shadow elite people, right? Other than what was proven with the whole Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell stuff, right? I don't think I've heard anyone talk about ritual sacrifices when talking about this movie, right? Whenever I hear people talk about this movie, it's about how this is happening in the United States with these traffickers, whether, they are from here or not from here, So, whatever. Let's continue.
Like you're about 2 steps away from getting out the witch burning sticks, okay? So good luck with all that, right? Like, I get it. As a parent, I'm sensitive to anything about, kids being abused or whatever, but y'all start talking about vampires, pizza, adrenochrome, and I dive out of the rabbit hole, dude, on account of how crazy that's... Do you really not realize how crazy that sounds, right? But to be fair to this movie, reportedly, it don't do none of that. The movie itself is just a standard issue action thriller with the quips to match, although I guess the quips in Sound of Freedom is stuff like, never trust a pedophile. Like, oh, thank you, Sound of Freedom. Here I was about to sign off on this Chomo's car loan, but I guess I won't now, so good looking out. The Sound of Freedom shows that if you produce a competently made film with an actual budget and real talent behind it that panders directly to the Flag and Bible Brigade, then you're off to the races, buddy. That's right, there ain't no grift like a right-wing grift, because a right-wing grift blows cops. That's right, this movie somehow makes these people feel like they are certified door-kicking, child-saving patriot heroes just for buying a ticket and eating popcorn in the dark. It's brilliant, right? And if I know anything about how Hollywood works, its success probably means we're about to see a whole trend of forthcoming Clint Eastwood-style freedom boner extravaganza. So buckle up, film goers, because I got a feeling we're just getting started here.
So, just want to bring up one thing that I recently discovered about The Sound of Freedom. He talks about how it was made to pander to, religious people, but this movie was made by, I believe, Fox, and Angel Studios just bought the rights to distribute it. So, was it really, you can make the argument that Angel Studios... is religious and stuff, but they didn't really make this film. They didn't produce this. I guess, did they? No, they didn't produce this film. They just bought the distributing rights. I'm getting into stuff I don't know too much about, but all I know is Angel Studios did not make this film. It was like a Fox-made film, and it was like put on the shelf for like a couple of years. But I disagree with him when he says we're going to see more movies like this. I think we will see a good amount of movies like this, but I think the reason people want to see this movie is not only is it spreading a message that we all can get behind, but I think it's just, a good story that people want to see. I think people are getting tired of the Marvel, the DCs, the Disney movies. They just want to see a good movie that's written well. They want to see a well-made movie, right? I think you can make sequels, prequels, but they have to be well done and, made with some respect, unlike other films out there where they just kind of... It feels like they disrespect the source material in many ways. Yeah, that's Sound of Freedom, guys. Some shenanigans happening in theaters, and this movie really shows the true colors of people. So, alrighty, folks, let us move on to another topic, another discussion I would like to discuss. That makes sense. Let's talk about another Disney woke reimagining. There, I said it. I said the key phrase that gets all the clicks. Woke movie, folks. Now, Disney in the past decade has decided that, hey, let's stop being original. We got all this old content, cartoons, movies we could just reimagine, put out to the world, maybe recast some people, and call it a day, make some bucks, right? And that's not stopping anytime soon. We saw it with The Lion King. We saw it with, more recently, The Little Mermaid. We saw it with Peter Pan. All of these woke reimagining things. Mulan. They did Mulan. What else did they do? That was a remake. They live action Beauty and the Beast. there's a whole bunch of them, right? But the newest one is, of course, Snow White. And Snow White, it's controversial, guys, right? It has some very bad topics in it, I guess. For one, she gets kissed by a man. Ew, gross. Plus, she's sleeping. She didn't consent to that, guys. Come on. Get with the times. Also, she's followed around by 7 little people. Can't have that. Can't have that. Well, we can't call them the D word, dwarves, even though they are not human. They are a completely different species. But hey, whatever. So, of course, when remaking this movie, since it's a white woman who's the lead, they can just put any ethnicity in there, which is completely fine if the casting is correct. And there was a report coming out that they were not going to go with the 7 dwarfs, which is very iconic with Snow White, right? The 7 dwarfs. They have been replaced with magical creatures. I'm not making this up. I thought this is fake. It still might be fake. But they are replacing the 7 dwarves in Snow White with magical creatures. And with that being said, you know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to place every single minority, diverse person in that. I wouldn't be surprised if, we see someone with multiple genders. Guys, come on. They're creatures. But recently, some photos on set have leaked. And when they first came out, everyone thought they were fake, right? Because the actress who was cast in it, Rachel Zegler, is cast as Snow White. She's not in it, but it has come out that these are like production sets, like they're getting ready to start production, and they are looking at some scenes, just kind of standing in, seeing how it looks. And we got the first look at our 7 creatures. Boom, folks. This comes to us from the Daily Mail. Look at these images, guys. Sorry. Look at these images. In exclusive pictures, Snow White's 7 companions can be seen for the first time as bosses snub the original text amid criticism of the outdated portrayal. The Disney production is live action and will not have 7 dwarves playing the role. Wow. Look at these 7 creatures. They are truly creatures. But there's one there that is probably the most accurate representation of the original film. So, what are your thoughts on this? Because I have some thoughts on this. First off, why remake a classic? I always have this question. Why remake it? Why not? If you're going to do the 7 creatures, why not make your own film about, whatever? Why slap Snow White on it, right? Well, I know why. It's because they wouldn't make as much money if they didn't, right? If you slap Snow White on it, nostalgia, people will go see it. That's my first thought. Why do another remake? These remakes are getting out of hand, and it's basically losing Disney money at this point. It's gonna, at some point, based off box office numbers, especially with Indiana Jones, they're gonna lose money at some point. Second off, I hope this isn't the final outfits for these magical creatures, because it looks like people just went to Goodwill and grabbed whatever they could in some sort of color scheme and said, "Yep, this is good. This is it, folks." Another thought I had was, I know Peter Dinklage said something about it, about them not including. I think I need to look up that quote, because he did mention something about them not casting dwarves, like actual little people, right? Let me see if I can find that quote of him talking about the new casting of these people. Okay, here it is. I found it. This is from IndieWire, a fun website. If you go down here, it says, literally no offense to anything, but I was sort of taken back, he said. They were very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that effing backwards story about seven dwarfs living in the cave together. Have I done nothing to advance the case from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough. Right. Yeah. Yeah. First off, I kind of agree with him. Why are we talking about Snow White in 2023? Why not make something completely different? Anyways, but if you are going to make this film about Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, I feel like that's a great opportunity for seven. God, am I gonna get canceled? It's a great opportunity for seven little people to get casted in a big Disney movie, right? And they've taken it away from those people. I mean, there you have it. They took opportunities away from seven little people. Well, six little people, because there's still one person on here. But, you know, they should get flagged for this from the woke mob, because, you know, they took six opportunities from little people and gave it to three white men. How dare they, Hollywood? Why aren't we talking about this more? Why isn't the woke mob complaining about that more? They probably are. I just don't follow them on Twitter. But they're taking six opportunities away from seven little people actors, little persons actors, actresses, and actresses. And they're giving it to three white men. How does that work out? That makes no sense. And again, the seven creatures, these just look like humans. I'm surprised they're not using CGI at this point, right? Why didn't... It makes no sense. It makes no sense anymore. Hollywood makes no sense anymore. They try to be woke. They're not woke enough. They go even further woke. It makes no sense, folks. Whatever. But there were some funny reactions to this tweet. So if you need a good laugh, go ahead on Twitter and look at some of the replies. But someone pointed out, this is from Ed Wokeness on Twitter, the seven dwarfs from the Snow White, and the original was in 1973, and we can see there are the seven dwarfs, very iconic in that film, and this is what they look like now, which is fun. It's gonna be it shouldn't even be called, I don't even know anymore. Like, they should have just made their own thing. But they can't, because it's Disney and they want the money. And people will go see Snow White, but I highly doubt that. And of course, a lot of people came to the defense of Disney, which is embarrassing. But a lot of people were saying, hey, she's called Snow White for a reason, which is a pretty base take, but it just makes no sense, right? Why? Well, it does make sense, but it's just frustrating to think about that they have the opportunity to create something new, right? Create a new IP, if you would like to call it, and they decide to just ruin the past, right? I guarantee you these seven creatures, are they even going to have like the same personalities as the original dwarfs? They don't look like it. They all look basic. They all look like just seven human beings having a good time, following around Snow White. Like, unless there's some CGI we're not going to see, right? That's why I hope this is a fake image, but according to a bunch of sources, it's real and it's happening. Oh god. And this isn't going to be a Peter Pan and Wendy type of film where it goes straight to Disney Plus. This will be in theaters, folks. It will have a theatrical release. And I can't wait for that first trailer. I cannot wait for that first trailer. The memes are going to be so good. The comments are going to be fire. And Disney's probably going to ban everyone from the comment section. The world we live in, the state of Hollywood right now is on fire. And we'll get more into that with the next topic. Yeah. Speaking of the next topic, I think it's time we dive into it. With Hollywood being on fire, we got to talk about what's happening. Not only is Disney and, just mainly Disney. That's the only one I can think about. Disney's on my mind right now. Making garbage movies, flop after flop. I mean, you can consider them flops, right? Because they really didn't make their money back. Or make a lot of money. They've been very disappointing as of late with their films, and it's only going to get worse. Actually, it could get better for them, honestly. Because with the writer's strike, that means a lot of writers aren't writing terrible movies for them. Thus, them not investing in terrible movies and losing a bunch of money. There you go. It could be better for them, but it could get even better for them because now we know the writer's strike is going on, but we now have the actors' strike going on. The good old SAG, baby. This comes to us from the forbidden New York Times. What to know about the writers or the actors' strike? So as we know, the union representing more than 150,000 television movie actors is on strike, joining screenwriters who walked out in May to create Hollywood's first industry-wide shutdown in 63 years. Now, why are the actors striking? It's pretty much the same as the writers. More money, please. Give me more money. As it says, pay is often the center of a work stoppage, and that is the case here. But of course, the rise of streaming and the challenges created by the pandemic have stressed the studios, many of which are facing financial challenges, as well as actors and writers who are seeking better pay and new protections in rapidly changing workplace. Which is fair, okay? I will say this. If you think deserve more money, then by all means, put up your pitchfork or put up your picket sign and give us a good reason why you deserve to earn more money. But I will say this, with stuff that's coming out now and films that have come out recently, should the writers get more money? I mean, they're probably getting paid very well and probably better than most of America jobs, right? But hey, if you want to go on strike, go on strike. It'll be fine. We'll all be fine at the end of this. We will eventually get back our CSIs, our late night TV shows, and all that good stuff. We will get those back. But with this actors strike, a lot of celebrities, a lot of actors and actresses cannot promote their movies because that is something they just cannot do when they don't have a contract. So with the big blockbusters coming out, Oppenheimer and Barbie, a lot of actors have canceled promotions, have walked out of the premiere because they contractually cannot promote any upcoming films. So I don't know. That's going to cause a big delay in content. Obviously, the stuff still slated to come out this year are going to release, unless the editors go on strike, which would be hilarious. And then just nothing comes out except for like indie films. That would be awesome, though. That would be awesome if it was just all independent filmmakers. But another thing I wanted to talk about that these actors are going on strike on is, of course, more money, please. But they were reporting that before the strike, actually, I'll just read this tweet from Spiritor Team on Twitter. American film actors reported that before the strike, Hollywood studios tried to get their hands on AI copies on them forever, which is very interesting. And that's another point I think the writers brought up in their strike is, with AI coming out and that technology, AI could possibly write better films than what they're doing right now. That's another thing they brought up with, protections with them. But let's hear what this gosh, I almost call him a rioter, but it hasn't turned into riots. Not yet. Okay. Here's what someone had to say about the strike.
But this groundbreaking AI proposal that they gave us yesterday, they proposed that our background performers should be able to be scanned, get paid for 1 day's pay, and their company should own that scan, their image, their likeness, and should be able to use it for the rest of eternity in any project they want with no consent and no compensation. So if you think that's a groundbreaking proposal, I suggest you think again.
Wow. If that is true, wow. Do we have that technology? I guess Hollywood does. But I would say that, yeah, they could do that. But it will not look good. I guarantee it would look okay. But nothing beats the real thing, right? Nothing beats Tom Cruise actually jumping off a cliff and base jumping. Like, you cannot beat that stuff in films. That's something a lot of people appreciate. And I don't know. I feel like it would turn me off in the movie theaters if I saw like really badly done CGI AI work, right? But I guess, hey, it's cheaper for the studios, but that's going to put a lot of people out of work. And these actors, they need the work, baby. They need the work. So, obviously the actors went on strike with the writers. But then they asked old Bobby Iger about the whole situation. Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, folks. Yes. Disney. The Disney CEO chimed in on the whole actor strike. Let's hear what he had to say on this groundbreaking news.
Speaking of content, we're in the midst of a writer's strike, and very likely it would seem to have a actor's strike. How is that going to impact things, and what are your expectations there?
Well, I think it's very disturbing to me. We've talked about disruptive forces on this business and all the challenges that we're facing and the recovery from COVID, which is ongoing. It's not completely back. This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption. I understand any labor organization.
Okay, I just want to say, I hate that they're still blaming COVID for this. It's been, what, a couple years now? Like, I thought COVID was over. I thought the president said it's over. But gotta blame something, folks.
Desire to work on the behalf of its members to get the most compensation, to be compensated fairly based on the value that they deliver. We managed as an industry to negotiate with the actors. There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic. And they are adding to a set of challenges that this business is already facing that is, quite frankly, very disruptive.
Copyright struck from CNBC, but let's stop there. But basically, he's saying, come on, guys, come on. Let's get back to work. Let's use your likeness without your consent. And we'll just get back to making movies that will just barely make back the production budget. So of course, a lot of people were not happy, not too pleased with what Bobby Iger said, which is fair. These people want their money. They want money. So one of the big players in this strike is a guy by the name of Adam. What's his name? From Adam Ruins Everything. Adam Conover. Kind of cringe, but whatever. He had this to say about Mr. Bob Iger.
So this morning, the CEO of Disney went on TV and said that what writers and actors are asking for is not realistic because they just don't have enough money to pay us. But he said this at a billionaire retreat where he was hanging out with Mark Zuckerberg and David Zaslav that they all flew to on their private jets. And you know what? I don't think that that's fucking realistic. Here's a dose of reality for you, Bob. Writers cannot afford to pay their mortgages. Actors are not able to make a living in Los Angeles anymore.
Okay, Los Angeles is very expensive, though. I feel like if you're an actor, the smart thing to do would be not to be an actor. Guys, they need the quiche.
That is reality to us, not flying around on private jets. And until you accept that reality, we are going to be out here on the picket lines, withholding our labor, depriving you of your product, and you will not make another dollar off of us until you come back to the table and face reality and negotiate with us as you have refused to do. And until you do that, there will be no acting and no writing.
No acting, no writing, guys. That is bold words from Mr. Adam Ruins Everything. Again, I feel like he's playing it up a bit. But, hey, they want their money, guys. They want their money. They are actors. They are writers. They produce art. They deserve this money. I deserve their money, okay? Give me their money. But honestly, I'll say this again. I think with them on strike, and I've heard other people chime this in too, make this point. This isn't an original thought, but they said, hey, Disney's bombing in box offices. Well, bombing, flopping. They're barely making some production budgets back. This could be a good thing, right? Disney could possibly save money with this strike rather than losing money and negotiating with these writers and actors, which is kind of funny if you ask me. But yeah, a lot of executives had a lot to say, and some of the people were, pretty harsh on these actors and writers. I believe one executive said they just have to wait for those on strike to lose their houses, right, to start negotiations. So we're in a big chicken fight here. I thought this response was funny. This is actor Ron Perlman coming out and speaking out with the strike. Again, he's responding to that executive who said, hey, we'll just have to wait till they start starving and losing their houses. Here's what good old Ron Perlman had to say.
One thing before I get off this. The motherfucker who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial, some of it is karma, and some of it is just figuring out who the fuck said that. And we know who said that. And where he fucking lives. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. You wish that on people. You wish that families starve while you're making $27 fucking million a year for creating nothing. Be careful, motherfucker. Be really careful. Because that's the kind of shit that stirs shit up. Peace out.
Ron Perlman coming after those people. Wow. What is going on with Ron Perlman? He's threatening executives. He's gonna make them lose their home. I do like the part where he said they created nothing, and that's exactly what some of these studios are doing. They're creating absolutely nothing, and just investing in dumb movies and remakes and stuff. But to wrap this all up, I just love the fact that this is what's big in the news right now. Right? This is what people are talking about. This is the big story. This is the only strike that matters. Well, there's another strike that could, potentially affect you way more and way more people in the real world. So what would you rather have? Let me ask you this. Would you rather have no films for a movie date, or would you rather have no packages arrive to your business, or personal packages? The costliest in U.S. in a century. That is right, folks. There is a United Parcel Service strike about to go down. Threatened U.S. strike at UPS could be one of the costliest in at least a century, topping $7 billion for a 10-day work stoppage. A think tank specializing in the economic impact of labor actions said on Thursday. So yeah, this just goes into detail about the numbers, but I just wanted to bring it up because at the end of this month, UPS could potentially be going on strike, and that doesn't look good for a lot of people. But of course, this isn't the strike that's right hyping everyone up. It's the writers people are saying deserve more money, and sure, everyone deserves quiche, but I feel like we should focus on the American people who earn where this is their livelihood, in a sense that how do I want to put this politely, it's a real job. Like, we all want to have a job where we can just be creative and act. That would be awesome, but that's not a reality for everyone. And UPS drivers deserve whatever they're asking for, I believe. I mean, come on. We live in 2023. Everything gets here super fast. And yeah, it's just insane that that we're talking about writer strike, actor strike, you know, the fancy people, District 1 in Hunger Games. Meanwhile, the UPS people are about to go on strike, and it's going to ruin, it's going to cost a lot of businesses a lot of money. And but we're worried about not having movies in theaters. So yeah, it's gonna be great. Alrighty, folks, that is all the topics I wanted to discuss today. If you join me, if you are here right now, I appreciate you. It's been a blast hanging out with you, talking about topics. Whoa, that's cool. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. I should be back next week with some more topics. Ayo, more topics. If you have not yet already, I would appreciate a like, a subscribe, if you will. Maybe comment down below. That sounds fun, doesn't it? Doesn't that sound fun? Commenting your thoughts and opinions. That sounds fun. I would also, if you're interested in my other videos, go check out the channel. Everything's up there. Yeah, go like, subscribe, all the cool YouTube things. I hope you guys had fun, because I did. So, alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, whether you tuned in for a minute or the whole stream. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one, folks. See you later. Bye now. See you later. Have a good night.